So it has a brew. I actually have 500 mils of tea, which is half a litre, for those of you who can't do maths. Was it Tarvis on Twitter, Lake of Lava, was saying about my massive mug. Yes, it is massive, and it's for bare amounts of tea. I also do have a carrot, because that's how raw. Raw carrots are the shit, by the way. It's also the same colour as my top, which I did wear yesterday. Thanks for saying. But I wasn't really out of bed until late, so it doesn't matter. So, Xbox One was released yesterday. Oh, not released. The reveal for it was yesterday. It's going to be like a what you need to know. I will run through what you need to know, kind of, and then like my opinions of it, like I did with the PlayStation 4. I'll go from there. So, press picture of what it actually looks like. It kind of looks like a VCR from the 1980s, granted, but I think it looks quite cool. It's quite minimalistic. It's quite square, and it gives a lot of space for air and other things like that. It kind of looks like, I'll tell you what it looks like. It kind of looks like a bit like an amplifier, something like that, or like an AV receiver. Is actually kind of what it looks like. We're getting a new controller and a new Kinect as well. And Wired is probably the best place you can get information on it. I would definitely check out Wired's website. I'll put the link in the description below. Right, specs. Now, this is one of those very, very grey areas because they didn't actually mention specs too much. They did what PlayStation did, and they kind of released specs, but in a sort of like a flowery sort of, oh, well, it's actually this, and it kind of isn't that, and... So 8 gigs of RAM, we assume it's DDR5 RAM, dunno. 500 gig hard drive, doesn't really matter. Blu-ray drive, which is quite interesting, go on to that in a minute. An AMD SoC system on chip, so GPU, CPU is going to be in one chip. Same with the PlayStation 4, and it's going to have 8 cores. So that's that. They're also going to have a better Kinect. So the Kinect's been redesigned. To the extent that the sensor can measure pigmentation changes on your face, which I think is pretty sweet. It's not necessarily something I would use every day, but I think it's quite cool. It does something different, like with the old Kinect, it sort of sent out some IR signals and received them, and it wasn't as detailed, whereas now you can actually see a lot more detail with the Kinect sensor, which is quite cool. Also, you're getting 60 frames a second for Skype calling, which is pretty sweet. I mean, I don't know whether or not you'd probably use 60 frames, because most TVs do support 60 frames, but likely it won't make a difference. I don't know why you'd need 60 frames for Skype, because most things are in 30 mostly, but it's quite cool to have 60, obviously, but that's neither here nor there. And the only other thing we need to worry about is USB 3.0, which is a standard thing. I'd hope you would have USB 3.0, and HDMI pass-through for TV. And the other thing as well, which is kind of system-based, is Microsoft Azure. So it's going to be cloud-based, and Microsoft Azure is going to be at the forefront for developers, which is really cool. If you don't know what Microsoft Azure is, it's kind of like Amazon Web Services. It's like Microsoft's own cloud system, and it allows you to do scalable solutions for stuff in the cloud. So if you wanted to have like a Minecraft server or something like that, for instance, you could do, and in actual fact, you can try out Azure for like a month or something and actually put Minecraft on it if you really want to do, or you can even put a Minecraft server on AWS because you get some free data. There's like a free account you can sign up for, which is really worth doing, checking out, because you can like run Minecraft servers on it without actually having to run it on your own network, which is quite cool. If you want it like a bit more dedicated, then you do have to pay some money, but that's neither here nor there. But Microsoft Azure is going to be the one that actually I think makes quite a bit of difference in terms of the gameplay and stuff like that. We're getting sync games on every single game ever, dedicated servers on every multiplayer game as well, which is quite cool, and that then means 64 player, 128 player maps, which is really good because we've had that on PC for years, and then finally that's going to come to the console, which is brilliant. So yeah, that's kind of really my ramble on what it is. So what have Microsoft actually released? Well, they've not really released many games for it. They've not actually showed us really any gameplay at all, because E3 is around the corner. They want to wait for E3. They actually said that at the beginning. They sort of said, no real gameplay, that's for E3. The E3, we're going to save all that stuff for E3, which is like a lot of people moaning about that and saying, oh, we want specs now, and we want gameplay now. Just wait till E3, because E3 is going to be where things are going to like come out, and we're actually going to see how well the Xbox manages with stuff like that. So, what are Microsoft actually doing to revamp the Xbox? Now, The Xbox is different to the PlayStation 4, and for a very good reason. Now, I'm going to say this. A lot of people on Twitter, I don't want to call them idiots, but people that don't actually understand where the gaming industry is going and where Xbox is going, slagged it off. Actually, to be fair, mostly PlayStation noobs and to a certain extent actually PC elitists were slagging it off for no real reason. There was no need for it because they don't actually understand the market and stuff. And I'm not pretending I know everything about gaming and stuff and market and products and stuff, but I know a reasonable amount, and it's just basically common sense mostly. But if you look at the way the Xbox has gone, it is essentially an entertainment system. And this is because it's cheap. It's like probably the cheapest, one of the cheap. In actual fact, it probably is the cheapest all-in-one entertainment system you can buy. With the additional, you can game on it as well. You think how much an Apple TV costs, and you can't do fuck all on that thing. It costs 99 quid. I think it's 95 now on Amazon, but it costs 99 quid. Xbox 360 costs what, 150 new now, 130, something like that. And you can do Netflix on it, you can do Love Film on it, you can do tons of content on it, you can do YouTube, you can do Bing, you can do Internet Explorer, things like that. And so as a smart TV, as an all-in-one entertainment system for the family, it's really good. You know, it can play DVDs and all these other stuff. And so a lot of people use it as their entertainment system. They don't necessarily use it for gaming because gaming's kind of a secondary thing. I mean, yes, of course you get on the hardcore gamers like you have with PlayStation, but not as much as the PlayStation. And that is why Microsoft are revamping the system so it's an all-in-one entertainment system, which I think is a really good idea. Which is kind of why it kind of looks a bit like an AV receiver, I suppose, and why they've called it the Xbox One, because it's going to be at the centre of everything. One of the things they did show off, more than they really needed to, was switching between apps and the multitasking within it, which is quite cool. Like you could switch between live TV and apps, which is quite cool. But yeah, I personally think the Xbox is going in the right direction. Would I buy one? Maybe. I would probably buy the PlayStation 4 over an Xbox, maybe. But I think, graphics-wise, from what I gather, I think, in terms of graphics, in terms of performance, PlayStation 4 is slightly better, as it was like before when the Xbox 360 was slightly less than the PlayStation 3. And people will say the PlayStation 3 was amazing. It was shit. It was crap. The bloody chip they put in was a piece of shit. Why the hell did they put a bloody? It was a server chip they put in there. And the Xbox had like 2 dedicated chips, which were actual proper stuff you could program on, which is PlayStation 3 you couldn't really program on it. It was a pain in the ass. And now they both go into the AMD SoCs, x86 architecture. Effing amazing for PC gamers because it means we finally get cross-platform gameplay that actually works properly. So someone can develop something on a games console and port it over to the PC reasonably easily, or vice versa, which is quite good. Not to mention the fact, obviously, it's just easy. It's just easy to program on. You don't have to dick around with multiple platforms on this other shit as well. But I think personally, it's a really good idea. I think it's a great way to go, especially considering what people use the Xbox for. Militant gamers, proper gamers probably use a PlayStation, but proper gamers use PC. And Xbox is more family based. The Wii tried to do it, and it kind of was more family based, I suppose. But you look at the way the interface has changed. It's gone towards entertainment. It's gone towards families. It's gone towards ease of use. Especially with things like the Kinect. The Kinect has changed things a lot, and it's kind of. It's centered around the family, and of course, people game on it like properly game, and a lot of the MLG idiots, I'm going to call them idiots because MLG people are they're just slightly better than average people, and they just think they're dog's bollocks. That's not me bitter, by the way; it's just fact. A lot of them play on Xbox. Actually, I think a majority actually probably play on Xbox. I'm pretty sure when they did the Call of Duty Championship bullshit, they were using Xboxes. But the Xbox, I think, primarily is an entertainment system, and I personally would go out and buy if it cost 200 quid, I would go out and buy one just for an entertainment system. Especially considering now it's got Blu-ray. People were slagging off Blu-ray, so it was pointless. What's the point of having Blu-ray? Blu-ray's pretty good still, like today. I know we're going to 4K content, but Blu-ray's still relevant at the moment, so I think that's pretty much it. I think really, I'm going to drink my brew. I've actually kind of rambled on far too long. I'm going to drink my brew. I'm going to eat me the carrot, and I shall catch you in a later video.